This is TOEFL IBT speaking test, and this test evaluates your ability to communicate in English in an academic setting. It consists of 4 tasks. Task 1, express an opinion on a familiar topic. Listening, campus conversation. Student A, I think this program is a fantastic idea. I've always struggled to find time to work out, and paying for classes off campus just doesn't fit my budget. With everything available right here, I feel like I'll finally have a chance to stay active. Student B, I mean, it sounds nice on paper, but I'm not sure if it's realistic. Most students are already so busy with classes, jobs, and assignments. Who's going to have time to participate? Student A, that's a fair point, but I think the wellness aspect is just as important as academics. Even if only a small percentage of students participate, it could make a big difference in their lives. Student B, maybe, but I'm still skeptical. What if the program isn't managed well? Like, what if the equipment breaks down or the classes aren't held regularly? It could end up being a waste of money. Student A, I get that, but since the funding comes from sponsorships and unused resources, I don't think it's as risky as you're making it sound. Plus, even if the program isn't perfect, it could still take some pressure off crowded places like the gym or library. Student B, I guess that's true. If it's well maintained, it could be a positive change for campus life. Listening, Professor's lecture. In addition to the examples in the reading, let's discuss some real-world cases of social learning theory in action. One of the most famous studies is Albert Bandura's Bobo doll experiment. In this study, children were shown videos of adults interacting with a large inflatable doll. Some adults acted aggressively, hitting or kicking the doll, while others played with it calmly. The children who observed the aggressive behavior were more likely to mimic it, even adding their own variations. This demonstrated how observation can influence behavior, especially when no direct instruction is given. Social learning also plays a significant role in the workplace. For instance, a new employee might notice that a coworker receives recognition for taking the initiative during meetings. Over time, the new employee is likely to adopt a similar behavior, aiming to gain the same reward. Another interesting example is how social media influencers affect behavior. Let's say an influencer promotes eco-friendly habits, like reducing plastic use. Their followers, inspired by the influencer's actions and message, might adopt these habits themselves. This demonstrates how social learning can happen on a large scale, especially in today's digital age. Task 4. Integrated Speaking Task. Academic Lecture. Listening, Professor's Lecture. Today, we'll dive deeper into the concept of the bystander effect, a phenomenon where individuals are less likely to help someone in need when others are present. This happens for a couple of reasons. First, there's a diffusion of responsibility. When people are in a group, they tend to assume someone else will take action, so they feel less personally responsible. Second, there's social influence, where individuals look to others to determine how to act. If no one steps forward, they assume help isn't needed. One of the most well-known cases of the bystander effect is the tragic story of Kitty Genovese in the 1960s. She was attacked in a public area, and despite multiple witnesses, very few people took action to intervene or call for help. This case sparked extensive research into how group dynamics affect individual behavior. The bystander effect isn't limited to emergencies. For example, in a busy coffee shop, if someone spills their drink, people are less likely to help clean it up if the shop is crowded compared to when it's nearly empty. However, there's a way to break this cycle. Studies show that when one person takes action, others are more likely to follow. This is called bystander intervention, where the act of helping becomes contagious. For instance, if one customer helps clean the spill, others might join in, creating a ripple effect of positive behavior.
Task 1 Answer: I disagree with the statement that technology has weakened the quality of relationships. On the contrary, it has enhanced our ability to stay connected and deepen bonds. For example, video calls and messaging apps allow families and friends who live far apart to communicate instantly, bridging geographical distances. A parent working in another country can stay involved in their child's life through daily video chats, which would have been impossible in the past. Moreover, technology helps us maintain relationships even with busy schedules. Social media platforms allow people to share updates, celebrate milestones, and express support for one another, fostering a sense of connection. For instance, sharing a heartfelt message on someone's birthday or commenting on an achievement shows care and strengthens the bond. While some argue that technology can lead to superficial interactions, it largely depends on how we use it. By being intentional, like scheduling video calls or sharing meaningful conversations, we can ensure that technology enriches relationships. Therefore, I believe technology has not only made connections easier but also has the potential to improve their quality. Extended answer: the two students have different opinions about the new fitness and wellness program. Student A is very optimistic, emphasizing how beneficial the program can be for students. They believe the free fitness classes and access to wellness coaches will encourage students to stay healthy without worrying about the financial burden of paying for similar programs off campus. They also mentioned that having activities like hiking and stress management workshops can help students relax and improve their academic performance by reducing stress levels. Additionally, they see this program as an opportunity to reduce the overcrowding in gyms and libraries. In contrast, Student B is more critical. They argue that most students are already too busy with their academic schedules and part-time jobs to make use of such a program. They are also concerned about whether the program will be properly maintained. For instance, if the equipment breaks or the classes are irregular, it could lead to frustration and waste resources. I agree with Student A. The program has the potential to positively impact students' lives by addressing both physical and mental health. Although not every student may participate, those who do can benefit from the sense of community and improved well-being. Moreover, initiatives like this create a healthier campus culture, which can indirectly motivate more students over time. Task 3 Answer: Social learning theory describes how people learn behaviors by observing and imitating others, especially when those behaviors are reinforced by rewards or positive outcomes. The professor provided several examples to illustrate this concept. The first example was Bandura's Bobo doll experiment. In this study, children observed adults interacting with a doll. When the adults acted aggressively toward the doll, such as hitting or kicking it, the children who watched were more likely to replicate that aggressive behavior. This demonstrates how observing others' actions can directly influence one's own behavior, even without explicit instructions. The second example involved workplace settings. The professor explained that new employees often learn by watching their colleagues. For instance, if a coworker takes the initiative during meetings and is praised by the manager, the new employee is likely to imitate that behavior, expecting similar recognition. Lastly, the professor discussed the impact of social media influencers. Influencers who promote eco-friendly behaviors, like reducing plastic use or recycling, can inspire their followers to adopt similar habits. By observing the influencer's actions and seeing the positive responses from others, followers are motivated to align their behaviors with these values. These examples highlight that social learning requires attention, imitation, and motivation, making it a key mechanism for behavioral development in both individual and societal contexts. Task 4 Answer: The bystander effect is a psychological phenomenon where individuals are less likely to offer help in an emergency when other people are present. The professor explained that this happens due to two main reasons. The first is diffusion of responsibility, where people in a group assume someone else will step in to help, making them feel less personally responsible. The second is social influence, where individuals look to others for cues on how to act. If no one else helps, they interpret the situation as not requiring their intervention. The professor used the tragic case of Kitty Genovese to illustrate this concept. In the 1960s, Genovese was attacked in a public area. And despite multiple witnesses, very few took action to help or call for assistance. This case became a pivotal example in understanding how group dynamics can discourage individual responsibility. The professor also provided an everyday example involving a crowded coffee shop. If someone spills a drink in a busy space, bystanders are less likely to assist compared to when the shop is nearly empty. People hesitate because they assume others will help or feel unsure of how to act. However, the professor emphasized that the bystander effect can be broken through bystander intervention. When one person decides to help, it often encourages others to follow suit. For instance, if one customer helps clean up the spill, others are likely to join in, creating a chain reaction of positive behavior. This shows how individual actions can inspire collective responsibility, even in situations dominated by inaction.